Respected brothers, sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Maulana Muhammad wa ala Sayyidina Maulana Muhammad wa sallam. Rabbi yassir wa la tu'assir wa kunna bil khayr wa bika nasta'in. Ya Arhamar Rahimin. Rabbana zidna ilma wa warzuqna fahma. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful receiver. Send abundant blessings and salutations upon the last and final Prophet Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for us and not to make it difficult. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us knowledge, to grant us understanding. By the grace and might of our Creator, Allah, Rabb al-Izzah, the Lord of Honor, we have made each one of us to assemble in one of His beautiful houses, the house of Allah, the house of God Almighty, the Masjid. And by the grace of Allah, He has granted us the ability to participate, to be in one of the gatherings where we are remembering our beloved Prophet Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the chosen one, where we will be mentioning and reading of the characteristics, traits, the qualities of the last and final chosen Prophet Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted you and I this ability. Because there are many people who aren't able to make it here due to difficulties, due to trials, due to tribulations. There are many people who could not be able to make it here perhaps because they were sick, or perhaps they were injured. There were many people just due to the fact of neglectfulness and heedlessness. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not guide their heart to be here. So inshaAllah we ask Allah to grant us this nobility and this true form of this love for our messenger Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So inshaAllah, in the first session we have completed 6 chapters coming with regards to the qualities of our noble and blessed features of our beloved Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And today inshaAllah we will continue on chapter 7 with regards to his beloved clothing, the clothing of our beloved Prophet Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And before we begin inshaAllah, I just want to these books are for your keeping, okay? You can take it home with you, and when you are at home, you can read it for yourself, etc. Okay? You can write your names on them, it's yours. And they're free of charge, don't worry, I'm charging you. Okay? So inshallah, we're going to deal with the clothing of our beloved Prophet Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the most beloved of garments to him was the shirt. And this is one of the things that many people today think that which we wear today, we think this is the sunnah of the beloved Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam used to wear the qamis in the Arabic language, which translates as the shirt. And later on in the rest of hadith, we will see how the shirt was. This is the closest thing to the sunnah by which we wear. Whether Gabriel, whether Amir, and whether Zaki, and even others, and even sometimes you will find among the Pakistanis as well, where they wear the kurta and the kurta pants with the slit. And then the shirt, the kurta will come from a long sleeve. So this is the closest thing to the sunnah. So even though many people think that when you wear this, you're following the sunnah, you're following something close to the sunnah. Right? So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has a sleeve of that shirt extending up to his wrist bone. So now we see that the shirt of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam extended to his wrist bone. Okay? And sometimes he would unfasten the buttons and its placket. The opening was from the chest. And as I mentioned in the first session, with regards to the hairs of the body of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whereby one of the companions who would look at the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they would see a lining of the hair from the chest of the Prophet ﷺ going down to his navel. And his chest was not hairy. Okay? So why did they see this? Now we realizing how they saw the Prophet because of his dress, because of his clothing and the way he wore it at times. So he would wear his shirt unfastened, and the buttons sometimes would be unfastened. Why would it be unfastened? Because of the intense heat in the Arabian desert at times, like the heat that which we are getting nowadays. If you all work outside, I am telling you, even when you have an ACs at home, in the homes, in these heat in these days, it still makes up. So sometimes the Prophet would wear his shirt unbuttoned. And this is how the Prophet, some of the companions will see that lining up here running down. Okay? He also wore clothing manufactured in Yemen, containing a red color and patterns. So the clothing here which they are mentioning is that of a shawl, similar to what I have on my shoulders now. Okay? So the Prophet ﷺ would sometimes wear something similar to this. And this is the reason why I brought it down here this evening as well, to show you. So this is similar to the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. So the Prophet ﷺ, you would have a shawl like this from Yemen. Okay? And this was beloved to him. And some colors of it would be that of red color and patterns. So meaning the patterns of it would be red. They will have red lines running through it, meaning the thread of it would be reddish in color. It was of a coarse texture, similar to this. And he would place it upon his shoulders. So now the scholars mention here that the shoulder of the Prophet ﷺ weighed on, sometimes it would be on the left shoulder and sometimes it would be on the right. But most of the time, the reason why he would wear, the Sufis will say they would wear it on the left shoulder. Why? Because it will cover their hearts. So sometimes they cover their hearts, meaning that sometimes the ignorance of the atmosphere or the evil of the atmosphere, these things won't penetrate the chest. Because when you look at something that is haram, is forbidden, it enters the heart. When you look at and listen to people speak haram, it enters the heart, isn't it? The reason why they will cover it and cover the chest, they will block things from entering into the chest. Okay, this is the way of the Sufis, not the Prophet. When he wore a new garment, he would give it a specific name other than the name it was usually known by. Okay, so he would give it in the praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whatever the garment he is about to wear. Okay? And he will supplicate and beseech Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you all as well when you wear a new garment, specifically for the days of Eid, the days of Jum'ah, or even if you want to go and get married again, and put on new clothing, you recite the dua. Okay, like our youths here, when you're going to get married, put on a new suit, or a new jubba, you recite the dua for putting on new clothing. And the Prophet ﷺ asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, O Allah, verily to you belongs all praise, just as you have clothed me. I ask you of the goodness of it and the goodness of that which it was made for. Because sometimes clothing, when you put it on, you can get the form of arrogance. Okay, for example, if you purchase an expensive clothing, you purchase a Louis Vuitton t-shirt, or you purchase a Calvin Klein jeans, if you purchase something that is expensive, you're going to feel proudful, isn't it? Because you paid a lot of money of it. Like for example, those, exactly goes up a level, he will tell you, some students will come with Jordans, and they pay $2,000 for those Jordans, and they want to show it off, isn't it? So they become proudful by putting on these things. So this is why the Prophet he would put on beautiful clothes as well. Because the shawl that he had was beautiful, it was from Yemeni cloth, and this was an expensive type of cloth. So he made dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, oh Allah, bless me with this clothing. Bless me with this clothing that which I put on. Okay? And you also seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the evils of this clothing. So you will get a form of pride in your which it was made for. And this is why we have expensive things, because they make it for people with arrogance pride. Okay? From the most beloved of garments of the Prophet ﷺ were those made from cotton and linen, okay, which was embroidered and of a good quality. So now we see here as well that the Prophet ﷺ, the most beloved type of clothing was that made of cotton and linen, and was also embroidered. But we see here as well from this hadith that the Prophet ﷺ also loved beautiful clothing. He also wore a red garment, a hulla, okay, a green mantle similar to this, okay, a shawl, meaning a garment which has green stripes in it. He also wore a threadbare garment. On occasion, his garments were dyed with saffron, though his customary practice was to wear white, and he instructed us to wear it and show the deceit with it. So sometimes the Prophet also had clothing made out of saffron color, meaning a yellowish color. And this is most of the time with the shorts. Okay? But he preferred the white color. Okay? This was the color that was beloved to him, such as the green color as well. These colors were beloved to the Prophet ﷺ. And this is why many times you will find many masajid paint their masjid in white and green. Okay? So because these colors were beloved to the Prophet ﷺ, and these are colors of Islam as well. Okay? He also wore a clothing with black ears and a Roman long outer garment, which is the jubba, okay, with narrow sleeves. So now, I don't know if any of you have saw me for some jubbas, I wear a jubba, which we know as a cloak. But in modern, we use jubba as this. We say this is a jubba, kurta, whatever. The jubba is actually that which you throw over the kurta or throw over the shirt and have a little bit of buttons coming up to there. And then there's a slit. Okay, and the sleeves are a bit narrow. I don't know if you ever saw any Egyptians, they have it around them and the sleeve is being narrow, be wide. Okay, so this is the jubba. And the Prophet also would wear this. Okay, he would put it around him. His manner of living, okay, the way the Prophet ﷺ lived. The Prophet ﷺ at the beginning could not find from poor quality dates that which to fill his noble stomach. This was out of his choice for the state, and this was not due to being compelled to do so. So now we have to understand this part of the hadith. The Prophet ﷺ at the beginning of his life, okay, meaning when he announced prophethood, before he announced prophethood, he was married to Hadrat Khadija. And Hadrat Khadija, she was a well-off woman. So therefore, his lifestyle was that of a simple lifestyle, even though they had wealth. But now, later on, when the Prophet started to preach Islam, when people started to oppress the Prophet started to oppress whom he had given Islam to. Okay? At this time, they started to oppress the Muslims. And because of oppressing the Muslims, they become in a state where they won't have enough to eat for themselves. Okay? And being the messenger of God, peace and blessings be upon him, he would give to others before he would give to himself. So therefore he would find things to eat, such as even the dried dates to fill his stomach. Okay? And this is why the commentator have mentioned that the Prophet ﷺ, this was out of his means. Okay? That which he desired, not because he was compelled to do so. Because being the last prophet of God, being the beloved of Allah, if he were to make dua for anything, it would have been accepted or would have given it to him. So this was to show his zuhud, his abstentionism from this world. Okay? A month would pass and the fire would not be lit in his home. So one of the companions asked Hazrat Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, and she is the one who's narrated this hadith. Aisha, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be pleased with her, she is saying that a month would pass and the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in his home, the fire would not be lit. What do you understand from that? What is understood here is meaning that they wouldn't cook anything. Okay? Because at that time they never had electric stove, they never had those type of stove where you have to have a tank, etc. It's fireside. Okay? And meaning a whole month would pass and the Prophet ﷺ would not cook anything in his home, meaning they had nothing. Okay? Nothing would be eaten in his home except for water and dates. Okay, they had nothing to cook. So what you have at that time? Water and dates. And some of the commentators here have mentioned that the dates that they had at that time, and you realize who's narrated the hadith, as it Aisha, all of the bad energy, all of the evil from that house leaves with the individual. Not meaning that with the individual he gets the evil, but because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala dispelled all of it from that home. Okay? And this is the honor the guest brings to the home. And this is what the Prophet meant, that our mercy descends to that home, that individual, that person who honors the guest. Okay? Many of you that have invited me to your home. Right? So this is the nobility of a guest. Right? So on behalf of this joke, right? So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he did not ask whether they were from wood, from leather, which was from an animal that had been slaughtered in the manner outlined in the sacred law. So what does this mean? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he had these two leather socks, he did not ask or question whether these were the animal made, the leather the animal came from. Was the animal slaughtered under the sacred law? Meaning it was halal? No. So therefore, we see from this hadith as well, you can also wear certain clothing, even though the clothing is made of a type of leather or type of wool, whatever it may be. Therefore, even if the animal was not slaughtered in the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala under the sacred law, you can wear that type of clothing. Okay? He continued to wear them till they had significant tears in them. Okay? Meaning, until it become worn out, then he would change it. Okay? If he got another. The sandal of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, they both had two straps. Okay? A strap which was between the middle toe and the toe adjacent to it. And they both passed over the top of the foot. Okay? So the slippers of the sandals of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, you all ever saw those leather slippers made by those Rastafarians, and we'll be selling Shogolas market sometimes on the other side of the road. Okay? So you know some of the slippers, it is have a strap coming from the two sides from the toe, and then there's one coming to the back. Okay? So the sandal of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is similar to this. Or like you know those rubber ding-dings, or like something like I have one similar to that. Alright, from the middle, from the big toe, and spreading out wide to the four toes, it will come from similar to that, and then another piece coming to the back. Okay? This was the sandal of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There were no hairs upon them both. They were removed by tanning or another means, meaning it was not made out of those furry style of sandals. Okay? He would pray in sandals which were stitched. Meaning those sandals that which were stitched, and there were times when the Prophet would pray, perform salah in his shoes. Okay, so this is why we got the hukum, the ruling that it is permissible if a person is in a state of wudu, he can perform in his shoes or his slippers. But obviously nowadays there is no need because we have places of worship, the masjid, where you have to take off your shoes and enter the masjid because there is carpets, there is no need. But if a person is out in the field, etc., then he can perform with his shoes on. Okay? But even the fields nowadays as well, the grass is clean, etc., you can also take off before salah. He forbid that any of us should walk whilst wearing one sandal. Rather, they should both be worn or both be taken off. This is a serious point to know. Okay? So if you cannot find your sandal, for example, on the day of Eid or day of Jummah, somebody steal your slipper. Or in the space is slipper, somebody hide your slipper. Alright? And sometimes what we do as youths as well, we put on one side and then we start hopping around and looking for the next one. You see that? So this is disliked by the Messenger of God, peace and blessing and salvation be upon him. So if you cannot find your next pair, rather take off it until you look for it. Okay? And walk carefully. Okay? So you wear both of your slippers, both of your shoes. If you cannot find the next one, you wait till you find the next and then put it on. Okay? He likewise forbid that a man should eat with his left hand. Okay? He instructed that the right sandal should be begun with when wearing a sandal, and at the time of removal that the left foot should be started with. So when you put it on your shoe, you begin with your right, okay, and then the left. When you take it off your shoe, you begin with the left, then the right. Okay? This was because he loved to begin from the right hand side in all of his matters. Okay? Everything the Prophet ﷺ done, he began with the right. Okay? Likewise, in Islam and in Arabic language, we begin with the right. Okay? So everything, not like the British, we begin with the left. And what we do with our left hand, we wash ourselves. Right? So everything is right. Put on with the right, eat with the right, drink with the right. Okay? Always strive to do everything with the right and start from the right. Even if you come across someone in a gathering and you greet people, you start greeting people from the right. Whether that person might be the Prime Minister or the President, and if he is on the left-hand side, he has to wait. You begin with the right. And many times you see this in our communities today. If someone is elite in the gathering, and someone is well-off, etc., they want to meet that person first. You greet with the right. If he's on the left, he has to wait. You start from the right-hand side, and come to the left. And likewise with the Salah. When a person is starting the Salah, you start with the right-hand side first, then come to the left. Okay? The Prophet ﷺ ring. Okay? At first, the Prophet ﷺ wore a ring made of gold, which he subsequently discarded and forbid from wearing. Okay, so after the hukum came, okay, after the ruling came, the Prophet ﷺ stopped wearing gold, okay, because it became haram, forbidden for male, for men to wear gold. And there are scientific reasons for this and Sharia reasons as well. Okay. He wore a ring made of silver, the bezel being from jazz, which is a type of iron, which was brought from Abyssinian man. Okay? So the ring he started to wear after was that of silver. Okay? On occasion he would not wear it, but rather use it to seal correspondences with kings, because they would only accept letters which were sealed. Okay? So he would wear this ring, place it on his finger, sometimes the pinky or this, and he'll use it as a seal to press on the letter. Okay? So you know, like likewise in nowadays time, in order to seal a letter, they will put a stamp, etc. So this was the way and the method the Prophet ﷺ would use to seal the letters to give out to the kings or to give out to anyone else. And the ring would be made out of silver. Upon it was engraved Muhammad Rasul Allah. Okay, meaning Muhammad Rasulullah, Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. Okay? Each word being on a line in an ascending order. So on the ring, okay, I want you to mark right here. This will be the ring of the Prophet ﷺ. This is the ring. And the name Muhammad. Muhammad will be like that. Rasul and Allah. An ascending order. So you'll use this as a stamp on the letters of the kings to send them out. Okay? And it will be made out of silver. And he would not use it when he entered the bathroom. Okay? So any place where he about to wash himself, or if he has to relieve himself, he would take it off and place it outside. And this is very important as well. Many a time, sometimes you wear our ta'weed, and ta'weed sometimes has written Quran verses upon it. Or sometimes you will wear a chain and marks Allah on it. And sometimes you see these TikTokers as well, these Muslim TikTokers, they'll have it on them, and we go in all elsewhere. Again, different places where the Quran of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the name of Rasulullah should not be entered into. Okay, so every time a person enters the washroom area and he has a ring that has Allah on it, or Muhammad Rasulullah on it, etc., it should be taken off and then enter the washroom. Okay? Even if you wear ta'awud and you know that ta'awud has Quran written on it, you have to take it off and then enter the washroom, make wudu or a ghusl, and then place it back onto yourself. Okay? The Prophet ﷺ will wear the ring. So after the demise of the Prophet ﷺ, it was passed on to Hazrat Abu Bakr. And after Hazrat Abu Bakr, then it passed on to Hazrat Umar. And after Umar, then it passed on to Usman radiallahu ta'ala, until it fell from his hand in the well of Aris. So Aris is a well at the time of Hazrat Usman radiallahu ta'ala. So the commentators of this hadith mention, says that after the demise of the Prophet ﷺ, and Abu Bakr had the ring of the Prophet, then Umar had the ring of the Prophet, and then Usman had the ring of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But after when the ring fell off of Hazrat Usman possession, this is when Islam started to see a lot of trials, and the signs of the Day of Judgment started to become prevalent. Okay, as you can see now. Right? So as soon as it fell off the third Caliph's possession, more of the signs of the Day of Judgment became prevalent. Okay? And the Prophet ﷺ would wear the ring on his right and left hand, as mentioned before. Okay? And the one who saw him at such a particular time described it as he witnessed. Meaning, whichever companion saw the Prophet ﷺ from which direction, they would see it sometimes on his left, which time they see it, they'll see it sometimes on the right. Okay? The sword, armor, and helmet of the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ possessed a number of swords, okay, the handle of which was of silver, and they were produced in the style of the tribe of Bani Hanifa. So Bani Hanifa was a tribe amongst the Makkans, okay, whereby they would be making the swords, etc. Like, you ever see these movies how they make the swords? So it's similar to that, okay. At times of battle, he would wear armor, which is interlinked chain mail. Okay, so you all ever see the armor with the chain? Okay, so similar, the Prophet also had armor like this as well. Okay, on the day of Uhud, which is the battle of Uhud, okay, the Prophet also wore two sets of armor, combining between both of them by wearing one over the other. So he placed the normal armor, and then he placed another one over that armor as well on the day of Uhud, the battle of Uhud. Okay. He also wore a coif, and it is that which is worn upon a portion of the head underneath the helmet. Okay, for example, you have the helmet, and they have a soft part for the helmet, because the helmet is made out of iron. Like a person who just put that there is going to be hard upon his head. Okay, so he wears something similar, softish for the helmet. He entered Makkah on the day of conquest, okay, known as Fath Makkah, okay, whilst wearing a helmet. Okay, so when he conquered Makkah, when he entered Makkah, he wore a helmet. The turban of the Prophet ﷺ, and the turban is Urdu wood, okay, and in Arabic it's called amama. Okay, in Arabic, a turban is called amama. Okay, and another word for turban as well as padri. Okay, your word is good. Padri. Okay. So it's also used as a turban. Okay. So the Prophet ﷺ entered Makkah wearing a black turban. Okay, so this is why we also come to know about that the usage of a black turban is also sunnah to wear, likewise with a white turban. Okay? Whilst wearing it, he delivered a sermon. So when the Prophet entered Makkah to Mukarramah, he wore a black turban and he delivered a sermon, speech. When he wore a turban, he hung its tail between his shoulders. So meaning, he would tie the turban, okay? And there are three major styles will go back to the time of the Prophet the way he would wear his turban. Such amongst the Moroccans, such among the Yemenis, and such as amongst some of the Arab tribes as well. Okay? So the Prophet when he tied his turban in such a manner, he will wear it, and for example, it's just an example, not like this, right? So he wear it, wrap it around, okay? And then he will drop this line in like this over his shoulders. Or sometimes you put it like this. Alright, you ever see those movies? Okay, like the mummy, you have also the mummy.
Yeah.
Alright, and you will wrap it around the desert. Okay. So you wrap it around the neck like this. The tail of the turban. Okay. He delivered a sermon, and upon his head was an oily cloth, and his okay, meaning its color was altered by the fatty oil due to his copious applications of oil, because he would always oil his hair, as we learned in the previous chapter. Okay, the Prophet when he would groom himself, he would oil his head, and he would use the topi line. Okay, so in our modern era, there's a type of topi. Okay, so remember when you oil your hair, okay, the toupee is going to get a bit discolored, whatever color it is. Okay? And a person who wears it all the time, they will realize who wears a toupee all the time, and if you oil your head all the time as well, you're going to see the different color as well. Okay? So he will wear that, and then he will wrap his turban around it. Okay? His waist wrap. And his waist wrap in Urdu is called a lungi. You have heard this word before? A lungi. Right? So a lungi was also a prophetic garment of the Prophet ﷺ which he used to wear. Okay? It is that which covers the lower half of the body, beginning from the navel to the shin. Okay? Half of the body, as opposed to the shawl, which is for the upper half. Okay, so this is the shawl, so this is for the upper half of the body to use. And the lungi from the navel to the shin. Okay? He had a thick cloth which he was wearing when he passed away. Okay? It was up to halfway on his shins, okay? And he forbid that it extended below this. So the Prophet also negated that you wear the lungi when you wear it from above the navel to the shin. Okay? So this is only for the mature men, not for the children, and not for the women. Okay? So the commentators have mentioned that this is only for mature men, okay, to wear the lungi. His manner of walking. The Prophet ﷺ, when he walked, it was as if the earth was rolled up for him. A companion once said, "We exert ourselves, meaning tire ourselves out and experience difficulty and exhaustion due to walking at a fast pace whilst he was at ease." Okay? Why is this? When we go back to the first previous hadith, we realize that the Prophet ﷺ, some companions will see him as tall, even though when he was with the tall people, they would be taller than him. And some companions will see him as medium height, even though when he sat with them, they will see his same level when sitting. Okay? So this is one of the miraculous nature in the physiques of the Prophet ﷺ. So now we realize that when the Prophet ﷺ says that when he walked, companion who looked at him, they used to have to keep at pace with him, even though he is walking moderately. And they see that he was walking fast. Right? This is one of the miraculous nature of the Prophet ﷺ. When he walked, he did so with firm steps, as if he was descending from a height. Okay? Meaning, as if stepping down into a depressed area of the ground. Okay? So the Prophet ﷺ would walk in such a manner that when he walked firmly, but it would seem as though he was walking in a descending type of order, like he's going down. Okay? Meaning that he was pressing down onto the earth. Okay? He would lean forward just as a ship leans forward when it sails. Okay? So the Prophet ﷺ would always lean like he's in the descending order when he walks. Press down and walk. But previously, in the first chapters, we learned that he would raise his foot off the ground when he was walking. Neither he would drag his feet. So walking, descending order. By looking down, walk. Alright? This was the format. And this seems, when the companions looked at him, it would seem as if he was walking in a descending order. His headcloth. The Prophet ﷺ would make extensive use of oil and wished to avoid discoloring his turban. Okay? So his headcloth deals with the amama, okay, and the way how he would have it at times. He would place a cloth between his turban and head. Okay? So every single time the Prophet ﷺ wore his turban, he always wore it with a topi. And some of the ulama have mentioned that when you tie your turban, you should also cover your topi with your turban. You know, sometimes we tie our turbans and we leave the topi free on top. Okay? So when tying the turban, it is covered. Okay? This is one of the format the ulama have mentioned in tying the turban. His manner of sitting. The Prophet ﷺ would support himself with his arms. And this was usually how we sat. Okay, so nowadays in modern era, we have chairs. So now when we support ourselves, chairs have a backrest. For example, like this chair, have a backrest. But before that, there were chairs, was not like that. So when they sat in the masjid, wherever they sat in learning, gathering, the Prophet ﷺ would sit in such a manner. He would sit on the ground, with blessed buttocks on the ground, and he would have his arms wrapped around his knee. Like this. And this is why some of the Yemenis nowadays, they will use a type of cloth that they have behind their back and wrap it around. You ever seen it before? Yeah. So this is how you do. Put it around and have it. So keep the back from being straight. And this is of course if you have his hand around his foot, to keep them back from being straight. But alhamdulillah, Allah granted us these chairs, etc. back rest. And this is why many of us today, if you sit for 10 minutes for Jum'ah, you are ready to leave upon the wall. Hey, those are the suffering, huh? Okay. On occasions, he would lie down in the masjid and place one of his legs over the other. Okay, so when the Prophet would rest, he would lie down and place one of his legs over the other. You all know, like he's only sleeping. Okay. His manner of reclining. Okay. The Prophet would lean against cushions, at times on his left side and at times on his right side, which was the most common. Okay? So when he is at home, or sometimes if a person goes as a guest somewhere, they will place the cushions. Okay? And this is one of the honorable things to do for someone who comes to your room, and to make sure they are comfortable. But even ulama, scholar, and alim, they come in many different gatherings. Like when I was studying, when any scholar would come to visit our school or to visit our masjid, to make sure when they give the lecture, they also make sure that the cushions are there. They will sit on the floor. Most of the time, we never had to sit in chairs and tables. All our gatherings used to be on the floor and in the masjid. Okay? And even when we eat, we spread the can. Right? Very few times in some gatherings we have chairs and tables. Okay? But they also taught us how to eat with cutlery. Right? So be civilized. Right? You must know the prophetic way as well. Okay. So this was the way of treating the ulama and the scholars. Okay. He forbid that the person eat whilst reclining and did not do this himself. So the Prophet whilst reclining, he did not like to eat like this. And he also negated it and prohibited for others to eat like this. So, and this is how we are today. When you go home and you eat your dinners, what happens?
Sleepy.
Very easy. What happens? Very easy. When you're watching TV, where are you?
Recliner.
On the couch. How are you on the couch eating food? Lying, reclining. The Prophet negated this. Why? So the scholars have mentioned that when a person does this, the food is not digested properly. Alright? So even in another hadith, the Prophet also mentioned, he says that when a person eats his dinner, he should at least walk 40 footsteps before going to bed. To make sure the food digests properly. Some of us, we knock out there when we eat food on the couch. Right? So this is the format, this is the way to keep ourselves healthy. And the Prophet was a healthy individual, he's a healthy human being, he is blessed. And he also wanted us to be blessed others. He gave us ways and formats of doing this. So when a person reclines and eats, he feels that he is not satisfied as well. Because when you recline and eat, you feel the stomach, still feel like you need more. But if a person sits and not eat, he's crunching his stomach. So when he eats, he'll feel full because his stomach is being crunched. Right? And this is why it is recommended to sit as well without reclining when eating. And there's 3 formats of sitting and eating. You all know them from the prophetic way. So one is the atayyat position for eating. Then is the normal sitting on the buttocks. And then there's the one where you cross the toes. Alright? For eating. These are the 3 main positions of eating. And alhamdulillah again, Allah granted us dining tables and dining chairs. But when sitting on dining tables, the British tell us we must be upright. Alright? And your elbows must be off the tables. Okay, you all know this?
Yeah.
These are etiquette of the table.
Yeah.
Right? The British told us this. Alright? Which we like to follow sometimes as well. I go to the rest and I eat it. When he was unwell and wished to go out, he supported himself upon one of his companions, such as Usama or Abdullah ibn Abbas. Abdullah ibn Abbas was the cousin of the Prophet. So we see here the good friends. Sometimes you're going to feel unwell, but the Prophet his cousin or something from another companion, he will lean on them for support. Okay? This is why you need good support teams. Because sometimes you're going to need it. Right? So you also learn this in the traits of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Find people with good support. Who will support you. Okay? The description of his eating and bread. And before we begin this one, inshallah, and we'll end here on this chapter, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned in a beautiful hadith is akrim al-khubza. Respect and honor bread. From this hadith, we understood the concept of honoring food. Okay? So, when we have our foods, when we're eating or eaten by someone, we must always make sure and honor that food that which you're about to eat. And this is why the Prophet teaches us to dua before eating and after eating. It's not only to honor and to give thanks to Allah, but to show the dignity of food. Okay? So the Prophet ﷺ, when he finished eating, he would lick his fingers twice, or lick 3 of his fingers. So these are 2 opinions. Okay? For he usually would eat with 3 fingers. And you know the 3 fingers he'll eat with? The thumb, the index, and the middle. These 3 fingers he'll eat with. Okay? So why eating on this? The commentators, the scholars have mentioned that a person will eat less. You pick up less and you eat less. And you also have time to chew the food. Nowadays we just put it in the mouth, chew twice, swallow. This takes longer to digest. Alright? Even with big meat, we eat our lamb or chicken, to chew, swallow. It will take long to digest. So the Prophet was sure with these 3 fingers, when you eat food, you eat less, chew your food more better as well. Okay? And after eating, he will lick the 3 fingers. And he will also take his index finger and wipe the plate and lick it. Now, where did you see this? Right? The people think that, oh, this boy is a real hungry boy. Alright? And they do this. They finger licking good. Alright? So he ate, so this is where Colonel get his thing from. Right? These people look at Islam and find things to bring about, you know. Yeah. Okay? He sallallahu alaihi wasallam ate dates whilst he was reclining against a wall due to the intensity of his hunger. Because of the severeness in his hunger, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his kindness, when he eat his dates, he will lean out next to the wall. He can't eat the dates. Okay? The majority of that which he ate was bread made from barley. So barley is a much more cheaper form of wheat. Right? You can ask for us there, deals with wheat and flour. I can tell you. Okay? So barley, the Prophet ﷺ, sometimes he will eat this raw. Some of the companions will eat this raw as well. And sometimes when they will mash it up, okay, and grain it, it will come into a form of flour like, okay, and they will make this into a form of bread or roti. You can see. Okay, and they will eat this. The majority of that which he ate was bread made from barley. There would be nothing left over from the barley bread for his family due to its scarcity. Okay? He did not eat from a table consisting of legs, okay, which is known presently as the dining table, okay, which is also called a khiwan. Neither were small plates which are passed around when eaten for digestion of food presented to him. Okay? So at the beginning of the life of the Prophet ﷺ, the Prophet ﷺ used to use the dining table. Okay? But he himself never ate from it, and he never had it in his home. But there were some companions who had it in their homes, and he ate by them. You understand it? Okay? He himself never had it in his home, and ate from it in his own home. But if he was invited by another companion and they had it at their house, he would eat from it. Okay? So therefore we see from the companions who had it that it is permissible to have a dining table in your house. Right? So you don't want to go to already bought from pots which you're doing now. Right? It's permissible to have. Okay? He sallallahu alayhi wa sallam did not eat his fill of bread and meat twice in one day. Okay? Meaning that he never had a full stomach. Okay? Like such as, some of us will eat breakfast and lunch full. Or lunch and dinner full, and breakfast might be like, the Prophet never have 2 full meals per day. Perhaps he might have 1 full meal and the rest he doesn't eat anything. Okay, perhaps he might have a little bit in the morning and a little bit in the evening and then before he goes to bed. That's how he will eat. Okay? And this is also for us to acknowledge the miraculous nature of the Prophet. In today's time, if we you and I to eat like this, we're going to get gastric reflux. Okay, we're going to get acid. All of these problems are going to happen to us. But even when the Prophet ﷺ would eat less, he will eat much, he will not eat much. He even said he did not eat his full of barley bread for 2 consecutive days until he passed away. SubhanAllah. The Prophet ﷺ, even until his demise, the Prophet ﷺ never eaten 2 consecutive days barley bread full. Right? So inshallah we'll end here and we'll continue on chapter 20, the idam of the Prophet ﷺ. The idam is a type of food. Right? Inshallah, let's move you up. Ameen. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Maulana Muhammad wa ala Sayyidina Maulana Muhammad wa sallam. Allahumma rabbana taqabbal hadhihi